What is good, Foundation Nation? Today we're here doing a review on the Pinnacle Outlaw from Legacy Discs. If you're not too familiar with Legacy, Pinnacle, that's their plastic that's more comparable to like Champion, stuff like that. They also have these in Icon plastic, which is more of their Star ESP type disc or type plastic. The Outlaw is a 12-speed driver. They actually don't have flight numbers on it. I believe it's the same flight number as your Destroyer, Zeus, stuff like that. So it's like 12.5, -1.3, somewhere in there. 12-speed definitely feels pretty true. I will say most of the Outlaws I've ever felt have been flatter and in my hand feel a little bit less stable than, say, a Destroyer. We'll see if that holds up true out here. I really like the feel of this Pinnacle plastic. It has a little bit more give than your average Champion plastic or Z plastic. Personally, I like that. You at home might not. I feel like it really lets me like dig in here. But yeah, we're gonna rip on this pretty hard and throw it out there flat and see how this disc reacts. Okay, got that pretty flat. Didn't give it a ton of height, but it is actually more stable than I expected. I expected to get a little bit more turn out of it when I was feeling the disc, but it flew kind of like a fresh Destroyer, except for it didn't have that like super forward fade. It had a little bit more of a dump at the end. We'll see on Hyzer if it wants to flip up at all or if it just kind of wants to hold true the whole flight. All right, so now I'll be throwing the Pinnacle Outlaw on Hyzer. It is a slight headwind out here, so take that into account. I feel like this has this ability that's not gonna matter. So I'm gonna throw it pretty hard on just a slight bit of angle, nothing too crazy, just like a slight Hyzer like I would use, like usable golf shot here, and see what happens. Yeah, I mean, that's kind of exactly what I expected. It flies very similarly to a Destroyer, maybe a hair less glide than a Destroyer is what I'm noticing. Really the true tell is going to be the shot we're about to throw, which is the Anhyzer. See how quick it wants to flex out or if it'll kind of ride and then come back. All right, we got a little bit of headwind here again for the Anhyzer this time. I'm really going to crank over on it, try to give it a decent bit of height and see if into this headwind on Anhyzer it still fights out. This will be the true test of how stable this Outlaw is. Yeah, I mean, that thing kind of bodied the wind a little bit. It is a little bit more of a right to left head than a straight headwind, but I feel like I would trust this disc in pretty much any wind. We're gonna see, throwing it back on a forehand, what it kind of does, how it flies for the forehand, and then we'll give our certified score. Final throw with the Outlaw, we're gonna put it on a little bit of forehand. It's a slight tailwind, so honestly, I'm gonna try to put a little bit of Anhyzer on it and get a flex out, see how it stands up to the forehand. Based on how it's been throwing with every other shot, I don't see it really being an issue for it, but we'll see. I mean, that came out flat, user error, but there's no need to go rethrow it to put it on Anhyzer because you can see what that thing's gonna do. A lot more stable than I initially expected. I think the feel of the disc is great. I really like the depth of it. I wish some of them had a little bit more dome. All the Outlaws I've ever felt have been flat. That might be a bonus thing for you. Not huge for me. Flight-wise, just a very stable, reliable, very overstable, reliable distance driver. I would say it's just like an overstable run of Destroyer. I don't think it's quite like PD2 Force, that level. And maybe pretty comparable to the Force, but not like a PD2 level stability. Definitely an overstable. Beginners, don't really see there being a need for you to have this in your bag. More advanced players, if you're looking for something you can kind of take and slowly beat in to be that kind of go-to distance driver and you like the feel of the Outlaw, I think it's a great option. All right, so for the Foundation certified score of the Outlaw, going with a 7.5. I don't think this disc had a ton of like special qualities about it, to be honest with you. It was just kind of your overstable 12-speed. There's a lot of them out there. It's hard to stand out in that market, and I don't think it really did a ton to stand out, but it's got to be up there score-wise just because that overstable 12-speed flight is very desirable, and if you like the feel of the Outlaw, then that might be enough to make it kind of edge in your favor. So that's why it is kind of in that mid-7 range. Could be lower, could be higher. I like it 7.5. That's what we're rolling with. That's going to conclude our review of the Pinnacle Outlaw from Legacy. If you want to pick this up or see the other plastics that it's available in, you can check the link in the description right down below. We've got a few different stamp options as well for this disc. If you want a chance to win this exact one, comment down below anything at all. Comment anything at all and you're entered into the giveaway. I can already hear you being funny typing anything at all. If someone comments anything at all, you're not in the giveaway, sorry. At least be creative with your comment. And we'll pick one of you, respond to it, and get this Outlaw sent on its way to you. We'll see you in the next review.